Okay, so we are learning flow controls, okay, or control flow statements, and we have seen control flow statement. That means so how the statement will be executed, in which order the statement will execute in our program. Okay, and how many control statements are there? Three major control statements are there: selection statement, iterative statement, and transfer control statements. Okay, so we have seen selection statement, if statement, and switch statement, iterative statement, while, do while, for each loop. Okay, then transfer statement, break, continue, and return. Okay, also try, catch, and finally these are also uh, transfer statements. Okay, control control transfer statement also. Okay, so that try, catch, finally, that we will learn in exception handling. Okay, so today we will discuss about break, continue, and return. Okay, that is the remaining part. So we already studied this if statement. Okay, so some important conclusion we have also studied. Okay, so here we have uh, so this argument to this if, that should be a Boolean type or relational expression that returns Boolean value. Then second conclusion, we have seen this curly braces and else part, that is optional, and we have seen if curly, there is no curly braces, then uh, the statement below this if, that should be a, that should not be a declarative statement. Okay, that we have seen. Similarly for switch case statement we have seen. Okay, so syntax for switch case we have seen. Also, we can pass integer and Boolean, sorry, not Boolean, okay, integer and character type value to this switch, that we have already studied. Okay, and byte, short, integer, these are of type integer. Also, long is also integer, but that is not allowed because the range of this data types, long, float, bullet, is very large, and we do not need this much cases. Okay, so that's why this Boolean, long, float, and double, that are not allowed to pass to this X. Okay, so byte, short,
So,
character, yeah,
sir,
uh-huh.
your screen is not visible.
PPT is not visible.
No, no.
Sorry, I will check. Okay. Now visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So already discussed this selection statement, if statement, switch case statements. Okay, and then uh, we have seen some loop statement or iterative statements, that is while loop. Okay, so syntax we already seen, and this we also pass this argument to this while, and that condition must be of Boolean type or relational expression that returns the Boolean value. Okay, so that we already studied. And when we use while and when we use do while, so suppose we want the statement within this loop execute at least once, then we use do while loop. Okay, so the statement within the loop that will be execute at least one, then go for do while loop. And uh, if you know how many times or how many iterations, then we go for loop, that we already studied. Okay, now again here this Boolean, that means zero means not the uh, zero means not the false, and one means not the true. Okay, that is not allowed in Java, that is allowed in C and C++. Okay, so that we already studied. Now here so here which loop we are studying here, while loop. Okay, so here curly braces, that is also optional. Similarly, single statement that is declarative, that is invalid. Okay, so we can write a statement, but that should not be a declarative statement that we already studied. Okay, and then we have seen some. Okay, similarly for do while. Okay, so you already know the syntax and all this, and this is for loop. Okay, so this is for loop. We have already seen syntax for loop. Initial condition that is execute only once. Okay, and we have seen some syntax. Okay, again declarative statement that is invalid. First statement you can write declarative statement, but that should be in the curly brackets. Okay, that we already studied. So this is for each loop. Okay, that is new in Java. That is not in C and C++, and it is introduced in JDK 1.5. Okay, and this for each loop that is specially designed for retrieval of elements in the array. Okay, that is designed for retrieving of elements from the array. That is printing elements from the array. Okay, so for that purpose, this for each loop that is introduced. Okay, and also this is also called as enhanced for loop. This loop is also called as enhanced for loop. Okay, now generally this is the program to print the element of an array. This is the declaration and initialization of array that we will learn how to declare, how to initialize. As this is the directly declaration and initialization of array. So you are already diploma holders, you already know. So we want to print the elements of this array, then we use for loop. Okay, so there are how many elements? 5 elements. You can directly vary this for loop. I is equal to 0, I is less than 5, or there is a length variable, so that will find the number of elements in the array. You can directly use this. Okay, so this is and then increment. Okay, and this for loop, that is system.out.println of x of I, that will print all the elements. This is the simple for loop, and this is the for each loop. Okay, now you observe this. This is the array I have declared, and this for integer x1 colon x. This is the syntax of this for each loop, and it tells for each x1 in x, print x1. Okay, we consider all these are the x1. Okay, we consider all the element as x1, and for each x1 in x, print x1. That is the meaning. We can read this as for each x1 in x, print x1. Okay, and if you want to see this, then you can see this example that will print the elements of array. Okay, so here for each, okay, that is the program. Okay, so here I have already written this program. So class demo for each. Okay, and inside this I have declared one array x. Also initialize this array x with some elements 10 to 20, 30, 40. Okay, and here I have written for integer x colon x, and then system.out.println x1. Now this program that will print the elements of an array. Okay, so that is specially this for loop, that is specially for an array to print the element, to retrieve the elements in an array. It may be a one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, or n-dimensional array. So we use this for loop to retrieve the elements in the array. Okay, suppose I have written here demo for each, so that you can compile here Java C, and here demo for h.java. Compile successfully, and if you write here at Java, then demo for each. So elements in the array that will be displayed. So similarly, we can use this for loop, that is for each loop for retrieving the informations in the array. So two-dimensional array or three-dimensional array. So we will see how we can retrieve two-dimensional array in the array topic that is in your second unit. Okay, so I think this for each loop that is clear. Okay, then the next type of control statement, that is transfer statement. Okay, and here we are studying break, continue, and return statement. Okay, so what is this break statement? So that is used to stop the execution. Okay, we use break statement to stop the execution, and this break statement that is used in switch case statement, also inside any loop. Okay, in do while or in for loop, that we can use this break statement. Okay, so when this break statement is encountered, then it is immediately terminated and program control resume at the. Okay, so that will when break statement encounter inside the loop, then your control will be go outside of that loop. Okay, or outside of the switch. Okay, so here example syntax of this inside switch. Okay, so that is given here. So this is the simple syntax switch, and then here we pass argument, and then here case, and here we have written break. Okay, so instead of this we will see the direct programming examples. Okay, so, regarding this bit break. Okay, I think I already. So, okay, so this is the loop break. Okay, then switch break. We will first see the switch break.java. Okay, so here SW break, that is the class name, and inside this main I have declared integer x is equal to 0, and I have passed this to this. Now suppose without this break, first of all we will see without using break. I have removed this break. So okay, so there are some cases, two cases. You can write any number of cases, and there is also a default case. Okay, now there is no break statement in this switch case statement. Okay, now when we execute this program, so what will be the output? So output will be 0, 1, and hello. Okay, so all the cases that will be executed. So this, it matches the 0th case. Okay, because x is 0, so 0th case that will be execute. That will be execute, and there is no break statement. Then next statement that will be executed. Okay, so there is no break statement in this. So we will see. We will save this, and then see the output. So SW break. So here I write Java C SW break.java, then Java SW break. Okay, so observe the output 0, 1, and hello. Okay, suppose I write here the break, then what will be the output? So output will be the 0 and 1. Okay, you see, so output will be 0 and 1, because we have written break statement. So that break statement, if this break statement is encounter, so control will transfer to the outside of this switch. Okay, this is a switch, and control will transfer below that switch. Okay, so control will transfer here. Okay, so this statement will not execute. Okay, suppose we write again here the break, then now x is 0, this case math, then it will execute this statement, it will display the print, and then break statement encounter, so control goes out of this switch case. Okay, so here, so if you to see, then you can see only 0 will be the answer. Okay, that is 0. So I think you understand the use of this break statement. Okay, so we will again see this break statement that we have seen. This is the break statement in switch case. So we will see the break statement in loop. We can also use break statement in loop also. So we will see one example. Okay, so here this break statement I have used in for loop. Okay, so break statement in for loop. Okay, so here for integer I is equal to 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus, and if I equal to 5, then break. Okay, so break means the control will transfer outside this for loop. Okay, this is the for up to this is the for loop, this is the opening bracket and this is the closing bracket. If this for loop, that means if I is 5, okay, this for loop will be execute from 0 to 10, and here if this I is equal to 5, then break statement will be execute. Okay, and break statement, then control will transfer outside the for loop. Okay. So that means what is the output here? What is the output? Okay, so initially I is 0, I is not 5, so else statement, that is system.out, I is 0 will be displayed. Okay, then increment I by 1, that is I is 1, I is not 5, then 1 is printed. Similarly 2, 3, 4, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that is the output, and I is equal to 5, then break statement will execute and control will transfer outside this for loop. Okay, so if you want to see, then here loop break, that is the name of the program. So here we will see Java C, then loop break dot Java. Okay, so that is compiled successfully, then Java loop break. So output is 0 to 4. Okay, because when I is equal to 5, then break will be executed and it terminates the for loop. Okay, so here we have seen the use of break. Okay, that is that we can use inside the switch case, inside the loop. Okay, so when we use this break statement outside the loop, suppose here there is no for loop. Okay, now here I have used here the for loop. Okay, now this will not execute outside loop, the break statement will not execute, it will give some error. Okay, so if you want to see, it will give error. Okay, so that will not execute. So outside loop or outside switch case, so break statement will not be executed. So that is the point here. Now after this break statement, we will go for continue statement. Okay, so similarly here I have given here 3 integer I is equal to 10, then this will execute, but there is no break. 20 will be displayed, 40 will be displayed. Okay, and break encounter, then go outside of that switch case statement. Okay, similarly here example given, same example here for loop. Okay, now here outside, here break is used outside the loop. Okay, there is no switch case or no for loop. Okay, so break use, so it will give some error. Okay, now continue statement. So continue statement is used in the loop to skip the current iteration and continue for the rest of the iteration normally. Okay, so not used inside use case, it is used only inside the loop. Okay, so this continue statement, that is used only inside the do while or for loop, not used in switch case statement. Okay, and that will skip the current iteration. You can observe this program. Okay, so here I have used for loop. Okay, for integer I equal to 0 to 10. If I is equal to 5, then this will continue. Okay, for loop will be continue. It will no transfer, control will not transfer to this system.out.println I. Okay, if I is 5, so for loop will be continue. Okay, now here initially I is 0. Here initially I is 0, I is not 5, then print I. Okay, then again for loop, increment I is 1, so I is not 5, then print I, that is 0 1. This will be print. Then if I is 5, then continue will execute, and continue will skip the iteration. Okay, so it will continue, for loop will be continue from this continue. Okay, and here the 5 that will not be printed. So I is incremented, I will be 6, and I is not 5, then again print the value of I. Okay, so in this way, this continue statement that we can use inside any loop, and that will skip the current iteration. If I is equal to 5, then continue statement will be executed, and it will continue the for loop. Okay, so this is example. This is another example. Print odd numbers. Okay, so this is the integer I varies from 0 to 10. Okay, and here I have written the logic I modulo 2 is equal to 0. Okay, so I want to print the odd numbers. So I already know, and here I have written continuous statement. Okay, so here the remainder is not equal to 0, then print the value of I. Okay, this is the logic. Okay, so continue statement, we will see the program directly. So the program name, so continue का program है. Where it is saved. Yeah, this is the continue print odd number. Okay, so continue print odd number. Here I have written this program, and here we are using the continue statement, and it will print only the odd numbers. Okay, so we will see const print odd. So here Java C const print odd Java, then Java const print odd. So you can see here 1 3 5 7 9. Okay, so these are the odd number that is display. Okay, so in this way we can use for loop in you can use continue loop in for loop, while, or in do while loop. Okay, so that is the use of for loop. Sorry, continue statement. Okay, so the use only inside the loop, not outside the loop. Otherwise, we will get the compile time error. Okay, so return statement. So return statement that is used inside the methods. Okay, so we already know methods return the value, and to return the value by method we use the return statement. Okay, so here you can observe here m1, that is a method. Okay, and return type of this m1 is integer, and we have not written any return statement. Okay, so when you execute this program or compile this program, we will get the error message, because this m1 that returns integer, but here we have not written any value. Okay, now here this m1 that returns integer value, so we have written here return 100, then it is valid. Okay, now use only one return and it must be a last statement. So here this return statement, that must be a last statement. Okay, we cannot use return statement that is the first statement, okay, or anywhere in the program. It must be a last statement in the method. Okay, so this is invalid. So this is about the return statement. Okay, so this try catch, and then finally that transfer statement that we will learn in the exception handling. I think that is the unit 5, exception handling, unit 4 or 5. Okay, so this is all about your unit 1. Okay, so anybody have any doubt or difficulty, then you can ask. Those portions you do not understand. So yesterday I have sent a practical list on our group. Okay, so have you seen that practical list?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So I think that first experiment, that is the installation of JDK. Download, install, and set the environment variable. So you will do that, or you want the steps? आप कर पाएंगे? JDK इंस्टॉल कर पाएंगे? हेलो,
Yes, sir.
आप कर लेंगे उसको?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, क्योंकि आपने
Yes,
किया
sir.
है तो हाँ, ये जो बाकी लोग थे जो बी वाले हैं, इनको पता नहीं था, इसलिए उनको इंस्टॉलेशन करके दिखाया और पाथ वेरिएबल कैसे सेट करना है वो भी बताया था। तो आप लोगों को पता है कि पाथ वेरिएबल क्यों सेट करना पड़ता है? Why to set path variable?
येस आपण कुठल्या फोल्डरमध्ये जर का तो प्रोग्राम सेव्ह केला असेल तर तो पाथ आपल्याला आधी सेट करावा लागतो, अदरवाईज तो प्रोग्राम रन होत नाही. आणि
बरोबर.
JDK चा पाथ आपल्याला पहिले सेट करावा लागतो, अदरवाईज जावा सी जी आहे ती कमांड एक्झिक्यूट होत नाही.
बरोबर, ते करता येईल तुम्हाला माहित आहे एन्व्हायरमेंट व्हेरिएबल्स वगैरे सर्व?
येस सर.
ओके ओके ओके. तर ते जावाचा पाथ व्हेरिएबल आपण याच्यासाठी सेट करतो की जे एक्झिक्युटेबल्स असतात आपले, बायनरीज असतात JDK मध्ये, है ना? एक्झिक्युटेबल्स आपल्या बिन डायरेक्टरीमध्ये सेव्ह असतात. कोणते? जावा सी, जसं आपण कंपायलर रन करतोय, त्याच्यानंतर जावा पी. Okay, so there are number of executables that are inside this bin folder. Okay, these are the executables, है ना? And to run this executable from any directory, to run this executable from any directory, तुम्ही जर समजा इन्स्टॉलेशन केलेलं आहे आणि पाथ सेट केलेला आहे आणि तुम्ही जर जावासी कोणत्याही ड्राईव्हवर जाऊन केलं, समजा तुमच्या लॅपटॉपला 3 ड्राईव्ह आहेत, सी, डी आणि ई, तर कोणत्याही ड्राईव्हवरून तुम्ही जर जावासी लिहिलं तर ते तुम्हाला म्हणजे एक्झिक्यूट होते ते कमांड. अदरवाईज तुम्हाला ती एरर देईल ते काहीतरी, है ना? तर त्याच्याकरता आपण पाथ सेट करतो. त्याच्यानंतर सेकंड प्रोग्राम होता आपला. सेकंड, तुम्हाला जर अडचण असेल त्याच्यामध्ये तर मला सांगा, मी तुम्हाला इन्स्टॉलेशन करून दाखवेल, असं काही नाही आहे. फक्त टाइम जातो त्याच्यामध्ये, तर त्याच्यापेक्षा आपल्याला आपलं पोर्शन महत्वाचा आहे. जर तुम्हाला येत असेल तर तुम्ही करून घेसाल आणि प्रॅक्टिकल मध्ये त्या स्टेप्स ज्या आहेत त्या लिहून घेसाल. चालेल?
Okay, sir.
Okay. And second program, that is also on type casting and conversion. है ना? Second program will be on type casting and conversion. Okay. So we have already studied typecasting and conversion. There are two types of typecasting, that is implicit and explicit. Okay, implicit typecasting and explicit typecasting. Okay, so implicit typecasting, when we are assigning smaller data type value to bigger data types variable. Okay, for example, suppose I will open one notepad folder here. Here, normal text. Okay. Suppose I write here integer x is equal to suppose a. Okay, so I have written this statement. Okay, in Java program. Then suppose I write here system.out.println of x. Then what is the output?
A.
Output will be 97. Output is 97. Okay. So how it is 97?
ASCII value of small a equals to 97.
Yeah. Here Java uses Unicode character set, not ASCII character set. Okay. C, C++ that will use ASCII character set. Here Java uses Unicode character set. Okay, and this equivalent value, that is a same value, that is that is equivalent integer value, that is 97. Okay, so who convert this character to integer?
Compiler.
Compiler convert. And suppose you confuse, then you can write, suppose here you write here double, and then d equal to double, d equal to, suppose I have written here 20. Okay, so any value, and then here I write SOP of, sorry, yeah, I write SOP of D. Then what is the output?
$20.0.
Very good, 20.0. Okay, actually we have assigned 20 to D, but output is 20.0 because this is of type integer. 20 is of type integer. Okay, and D is double type. Okay, we are assigning integer type to double type variable, integer type value to double type variable. Okay, and this size of integer is how much memory the integer will take? It will take
4
bytes of memory, and double, it will take 8 bytes of memory.
8 bytes.
So 4 bytes we can put into 8 bytes. That is valid. Okay, and this conversion 2.0, this compiler will do this automatically internally. They will compile, they will cast this 20 internally and then convert it into double. Okay, so we do not require to take any effort to convert integer to double. Compiler will automatically do this, and such type of conversion is called implicit type conversion. Okay, now this implicit type conversion, that is also known as widening or upcasting. That is also known as widening or upcasting. We have seen this diagram, that is a byte, then we have written short. Okay, below that we have written character, and then integer, then we have written a long, float, double. Okay, and remember here typecasting is not allowed for Boolean. Okay, up to double only. And okay, so that is implicit typecasting. Okay, and now what about explicit typecasting? So explicit typecasting, when bigger data type value is assigned to smaller data type variables. Bigger data type value that is assigned to smaller data type variable, then suppose I will take example. I hope you have understand this. Okay. Now here I am writing, suppose here integer x is equal to 130. Integer x is equal to 130. Okay. And then I have written here byte b is equal to x. Now what is the output?
Error.
We will get some error. We will get some error. Okay. So because x is of integer type, x is integer and b is byte type. So integer, it will take 4 bytes of memory, and byte, that will take only 1 byte of memory. So we are unable to put a bigger value into the smaller memory. Okay. This is only 1 byte and this is 4 bytes. Okay. So we will get some error. So here we can do this, but programmer effort required. So programmer explicitly required to convert this integer into byte and then assign to byte variable. So here casting is required. So explicitly we write here the byte, B-I-T-E. Sorry. Okay. So that is called the casting. Okay. So here we require to write explicitly in our program this casting operator. Okay. So if you write this, then x will be converted into byte and then assigned to byte variable. But here there is a possibility of loss of information. Okay. Yesterday I told you implicit type casting means you are putting smaller box into bigger box. Okay. So there is no problem. It is easily we can put the smaller box into the bigger box. But you are putting bigger box into the smaller box, then there is some loss of information. Okay. So when we are assigning bigger data type value to smaller data type variable, then we will get some error. Okay. So we will see this same example practically. We will see that. Suppose here I open one file. Okay. So that file, that must be a Java file. Okay. Now here, so we will write here demo class. Okay. You can give any name. Demo class. I have given here demo class. Now here inside this main, I have declared integer x equal to 130. I have written here integer x is equal to 130, and then byte b is equal to, same example we will take, x, and here we want to print the value of b. Okay. Now we will see this is valid or invalid, and then we will cast this. Okay. So okay, control flow folder, and here what name we have given here? Demo cast. Okay. So there is no need to write .java. So because we have already selected the file type .java file. Okay. So demo cast here we have saved. Then we will try to run this Java C. Then demo cast.java. You are observed incompatible type, possible loss of conversion from whatever may be the. Okay, so we will get the error. So how we can remove this error? Here we write the byte. Okay, then we will see the output. Okay, so what is the output? So here, demo cast, compile successfully. Demo cast. Okay. So what is the output here? What is the value of x we have assigned to x? Yes. Hello. Hello. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, प्रोग्राम समझ में आ गया है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
आउटपुट क्या? हाँ, आउटपुट क्या आया था हमारा?
126
हाँ, -126 आया।
-126
हाँ, -126 आया था और हमने यहाँ पे कितना दिया है? x को असाइन 130 किया है, तो हमारा -126 आया है। दैट मीन्स देयर इज समथिंग लॉस ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन। ओके, सो लॉस ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन क्यों कैसे हुआ? -126 कैसे आया है? आपको पता है कैसे क्यों -126 आंसर आया?
सर बाइट की रेंज में आया।
या correct byte means 1 bit, sorry, byte it will take 8 bits of memory. Okay, then 130 that will be converted into binary. Okay, and we are taking only last 8 bit. Okay, so I will tell you. So yeah, new and then text file. Here we will take. Okay, now here we will convert this 130 into binary. So binary conversion of this 130, that will be 0 0 0, maybe any number. Okay, so then 0 1 0 0 0 5 0 and then 1 0. Okay, so this is the binary conversion. So we can divide 130 by 2 and then 65 by 2, then 32 by 2. Okay, so we will get the binary conversion. Okay, so here byte it will take only 8 bits, so we consider here only the 8 digits. Okay, so that is 4 and 4 8, and this 8th digit, that is this is 1, that we will consider as a sign bit. We will consider this one as a sign bit. Okay, and we already know one means negative number and 0 means positive numbers. Okay, and then now this number is negative because 8th bit is 1, so this number is negative, so that's why we will consider that is a negative number. Okay, and negative number conversion we require to convert it into 2's complement. Okay, now here 1 is considered for negative, so 0 1 2 3 4 5 and 1 0. Okay, and 1 for sign bit. Okay, now convert it into 2's complement. How we can convert it into 2's complement? Plus 1. We write here plus 1. Okay, then what is the output we will get here? No. This is number. First you convert it into ones complement. First convert it into ones complement. So one complement of this number is 0 1 हो जाएगा, 1 का 0 हो जाएगा, और all other that is 1 1 1 1 2 3 4 5. So that is the ones complement, okay, and twos complement add 1. If you perform this addition operation, okay, then you will get here 0, then 1, then again 5 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so we will get here this number. Now you consider this is 2 to the power 0. Okay, so here we will see this is 2 to the power 0, then 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 4, 2 to the power 5, and 2 to the power 6. Okay, so here if you add this, that is 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2, so you will get 126. You will get 126. Okay, and we already know the last 8 bit is a negative bit, so that's why we will get minus 126 answer. So getting this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think today it is sufficient. So from Monday we will start our second unit, that is classes and object. So any doubt? Anybody?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you.